NFL Week 6, we are live here, 4th and Inches at BTV Bets. Better than Vegas is the website you need to head to every single day if you want to become a better. Everything free over at BTV, free content, free live streams just like this, getting you all set up for NFL Sunday. We've got Week 6. This is the first week of the buys, so a little bit lighter on the Sunday schedule. We've actually got a game going on right now over in London, baby. Great catch was that, Marvin Jones Jr. with an awesome catch right there to have the Jags cutting it to a 13-9 deficit right now. Miami up early as they get close to heading to the halftime there over in London. Beho, Mantis, and Eric, ETOF 21 Sports here joining me. We're going to bounce around and go through all of the games on this Sunday card. We won't talk about the Monday night game because we'll have a full-on preview for that tomorrow where we'll get into props and everything for that standalone game. But before we jump into the Sunday slate, we want to let you know where you need to go to make your wagers when you're thinking about playing, when you're diving into the betting lines each and every day. You need to head to Nitro Betting.
Do you bet on sports and use cryptocurrency? Then you might have heard of Nitrogen Sports, a top Bitcoin-only sportsbook and pioneer in the crypto betting world. Our family is growing and we're pleased to introduce nitrobetting.eu, a new online Bitcoin sportsbook, poker and casino, offering a well-known anonymous service but with a new image. Thinking of signing up? It's pretty easy. With no KYC and full anonymity, you'll have your account in a minute. Don't forget to have your Bitcoin wallet ready for deposits and payouts. You'll also receive great benefits such as fast payouts, 24/7 chat and email support, sign up and reload bonuses. Head to our sportsbook to find daily sportsbook odds for sports along with props, future odds and more.
Nitro Betting. Beho, I have a question. When you sign up, do you get like an assistant that gets to talk with you in that great voice, everything you do? Here we go.
I wish.
Bet on the Browns coming up today. Browns -3. It's like your assistant. It's like the little paper clip that you used to get on Microsoft Word, right? That would pop up and tell you what to do.
Nice.
And over at Nitro Betting, it's all crypto. And if you go to our website, betterthan.vegas, and click on the banner, you will actually get a bonus when you sign up at Nitro Betting, and it'll help us a little bit too. So make sure before you sign up for Nitro, go to betterthan.vegas, click on that banner right on the front of the page. It'll take you right to the Nitro site, and it'll give you a little bit of a bonus just by signing up through our site. And we're going to give all of you tons of bonuses today with all that money we are going to be winning for you. So we won't talk about this London game that's just about at halftime, but we will talk about the rest of the games on the Sunday slate. And the first game on our menu, real quick. Got to give a shout out before. On Monday, we had the preview of the Colts and the Ravens game. And freaking Mantis, as a Colts fan, basically in like 30 seconds, told you exactly what was going to happen in that game. He was like, the Colts are going to play well. They're going to be in the game. In the third quarter, all the Colts fans are going to be excited. We're going to think we got a real legitimate chance. And in the fourth quarter, they're going to find some way to F it up. Mantis, if you would have turned that in as a script in Hollywood, they'd have been like, nah, I don't know. That seems a little too – and that was perfect, man. You nailed it. So props to you for that.
Thank you. Unfortunately, it happened.
Yeah. We all know our teams in a bad way sometimes, right?
Oh, yeah.
Eric here with the Lions, Beho here with the Bengals. They've been in that situation many a times. But
we pull for some pretty bad teams, guys.
I was gonna say, yeah, right. The three, because I said I'm a Rams fan, but like I've said, I'm like a new Rams fan since they've come back. So I haven't bled and suffered through some of the lean years like you guys have with some of your teams. I've been there with Dodgers, Lakers, USC when they've had bad years, but not as many with the Rams recently. Let's get into making some money today. Let's get into our first game. And remember, when we pop up these games, we are using the Nitro Betting line. So these are the lines right now over at Nitro Betting. Right now, it is the Vikings -2.5 at the Panthers. Total in this game, 45.5. Remember, with the buys, no Falcons, no Saints, no Jets, no 49ers this week. Beho, in week 5, there were 27 missed kicks, 13 missed extra points, the most ever in a single week in the Super Bowl era in NFL history. It was absolutely nuts. So it just makes you think all of these games this week that are tight, any missed kick could change the complexion of one of these games. You got one here. We know McCaffrey is not playing, and that hurts this Panthers team because they had such a great start to the year, 3-0. Then he goes down, and they're just not the same team without him. He's going to miss the next few weeks here. You have any thoughts on this number, Vikings minus 2.5 at the Panthers?
Yeah, I do. But first and foremost, I'd like to kick you in the shin for pointing me out on that missed kick, since half of those missed kicks were in the Bengals-Packers game.
2 of them were game winners by your rookie kicker who thought he hit one of them that nicked the flag.
I mean, dude, that kid's got a leg on him. The wind had to have been terrible up there. Whatever. Back to this game. Yeah, CMC being out hurts. I still think this is a tough spot being home dogs. I mean, like, I kind of like the Panthers here. You know, the Vikings don't do much for me. I don't know. Is Dalvin Cook out again, or is he still?
He's playing. I think he's playing, right?
He's going to play.
I mean, but even when he plays right now, he's clearly banged up. We were talking on our fantasy show about how you look at running backs right now and they all have D, Q, you know, everything next to their name. It's like week 6 of the NFL, right? Everybody's banged up.
Yeah.
But yeah, give me the Panthers here, and I would lean the under the 45.5.
Okay, Mantis, Vikings, Panthers. Any thoughts on this one?
I wish it was 3.5. I would say Vikings. I thought it was one of those games where I personally, when I saw the Vikings were playing the Seahawks not too long ago, I thought the Seahawks would win. Vikings won. I think the Vikings actually pull off the upset today.
So we got Vikings for
not upset, but they're going to win on the road.
Sort of like a either or game here. Vikes on the road. That's where Mantis leans. We get over to Eric. Eric, the Vikings scored 12 of their 19 points from field goal range last week. They kicked a game-winning 54-yard field goal against your Lions. That is the second time this year. No team in NFL history has ever lost more than 2 games in 1 year on 50-plus yard field goals to win it, and it's already happened to the Lions twice within 5 weeks.
Setting records over here, man. I mean,
exactly. In the record books.
Historic season already for us. 5 weeks in, we're already breaking records, man.
In the record books. What do we think about this game for Vikes Panthers? Yeah, go ahead.
This is a pass for me. I mean, I just don't trust this Vikings team on the road. I don't trust Sam Darnold at all. Vikings like the blitz. He's bottom 5 in the league with completion percentage when facing the blitz, and I just can't take points with Darnold. He's the reason they lost the game last week. I mean, in my eyes, he's terrible. So this is a pure stay away from me. But I do agree with Brian. I think this game's going to go under.
I'm not quite as hard on Darnold, but I agree, like, overall. But last week he was bad. Last week he was very bad. And I think it just shows you that he can't be the guy to carry you. If everything is set up well, and if McCaffrey's there for him, then he can fit that offense fine for what they want. I don't know if he could lead them to a Super Bowl, but he could get them to the playoffs and win them a playoff game if they had to. But he cannot be the guy that has to lift you up if he has to make plays. And that's my concern right now, is that it's going to be so easy to defend this team without McCaffrey. You really just force them to throw the ball. You force Sam to make a play. And if he does, then you live with it. I'm staying away from this game.
I do think Robbie Anderson could actually have a good game this week,
in this spot.
Yeah.
The Vikings D-line played pretty well last week. The O-line was fine. They did get a big game from Jefferson last week. 7 receptions on 8 targets, 124 yards. Someone to keep an eye on. Maybe they sort of unlocked him a little bit after a slowish start to the year. We get a game with little implications for a couple of our panel analysts here. Bengals, Lions, little 4th and inches crime on crime. Bengals are now a 4-point favorite heading on the road to play the Lions, as Lions, man, we just talked about them. And I guess we'll start with you, Eric, with these Lions. You start digging through this team. They lose last week by 1. Week 1, they come all the way back. They cover that game, and they got a shot late against San Francisco. Week 2, they're up at halftime against Green Bay. Then it starts pouring, And Goff has a bad second half because he's really bad in wet conditions. Week 3, they lose on a 66-yard field goal that shouldn't even have been kicked. It was a penalty on the play before. It should have been a 71-yard field goal attempt. Week 4, they lose to the Bears 24-14. That game is a little deceiving. There were 4 times when the Lions got inside the 10-yard line in that game and did not score 1 point in those 4 drives. Could have been a lot closer. Last week, they again cover that game. They're up with 37 seconds left, and Minnesota needs a 56-yard field goal to beat them, 54-yard field goal to beat them. This team at least plays hard. They're feisty, and it seems like they're at least responding to their coach. That's some things I like about this Lions team so far.
They're a lot scrappier, and they're actually better than I thought they were. The thing that stood out to me is they're 5th in the NFL in pressure rate. So I think they're going to be able to get to Burrow. I mean, when you look at the box score, I hate to say it, Brian, but your Bengals got dominated by the Packers with the production they put up.
That felt like a steal game for the Bengals, right? Last week.
Yep.
It was like, that's a game to steal. And at the end of the season, you go, wow, now we're better because we won that kind of a game, right?
Yeah, we could have had that.
Yep.
I like the Lions here. I mean, I locked them in earlier in the week at plus 365. I hit them to straight up win on the money line. They're my pick and survivor too, crazy as it sounds. Bengals are coming off an emotional home game they lost in overtime. They got the Ravens on deck. This is a flat spot similar to when the Ravens came to Ford Field a couple weeks ago. I like the Lions here, and I actually like them to win straight up.
The funny thing about this game is I think the Bengals are a better team. I've been pretty impressed with the Bengals defense so far. I think they're pretty solid. I don't really like them in this spot, like laying points on the road, even against a bad team like the Lions. I much prefer the Bengals maybe as like a feisty underdog because they can kind of play a little bit over their heads against, like we saw last week against Green Bay. That's kind of the spot I like to play them. I think this is a close game. I think the Bengals probably still win, but at anything over the field goal, I would play the Lions on this line. Just a lot of what I mentioned about the Lions, and the Bengals have 5 games this year. 4 of them have been decided by exactly 3 points. 4 of those 5 games have landed on 3. They may be that kind of a team that just kind of plays close. I could see this being just like what's happened to the Lions a lot this year. Maybe the Lions up or a tie game. Burrow takes them late for a drive to kick a field goal and win the game. So give me the Lions I locked them in at plus 3.5 earlier in the week. Obviously, plus 4 is a better number than that. I get a little worried, Beho, sometimes. Is the jury still out on Taylor for you? Where do you feel?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think there's weeks where I'm not sure if he's a kindergarten teacher or, an NFL coach.
Then he has good weeks. Very good.
Yeah. I mean, so it's up and down. I mean, look, they're 3-2 right now. And, that's better than I think most people expected them to be at this point in the year, especially with Burrow coming back from injury. So
absolutely.
Like, again, and I don't know if you saw the press conference he had earlier in the week underneath the tunnel where they had like the substitute teacher podium out for him, the one with the wheels, the cart with wheels. And it's like, again, this is $1 billion franchise, guys. Like, we can't put like a podium up for our coach. So like, we've got the worst ownership in sports. It's a joke. Now, as far as this game goes, here's 2 things that worry me as a Bengals fan. I think a lot of times teams, like you said, our defense isn't terrible. Like they're pretty middle of the package. The one problem that I think we have is like dink and dunk, like little screen passes and the tight end. And DeAndre Swift and Hawkinson may make our lives miserable today. I'm not touching this game at all because I could see anything happen. I could see exactly what Eric said. They dink and dunk us and hit us with Hawkinson and beat us.
Swift and
Or I could see Burrow coming out of the gate and us be up 21-0 before they blink an eye. So, I mean, it could go either way. This is a stay away for me. If I had to, I mean, as a Bengals fan, I'd lay the points and go there. But, I'm not touching this one.
Do we know? So P. Ryan's out. Mixon's in. And we're going to be getting a little bit of Captain America today. Chris Evans, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Absolutely.
and Chris Evans has had some good spots, but again, like, I mean, those guys are interchangeable. I mean, they have been for years. We had Gio Bernard. You know, you just bring them in, you dink and dunk them, and go from there. But
He's gonna be swinging that shield around like Mantis swings his. Whoa! Mantis, where are you headed in Bengals Lions?
Detroit +4. That's what I'm going with.
Lions home. Mantis loved the tears that we got from Dan Campbell last week after the game. So did I. Crying in the press conference. You know what? That fire. I bet you people laughed at him. I bet you that team didn't laugh at him. They're in the locker room with him. They understand how much work he puts in. This team could have won maybe 3 games out of their 5 so far this year. They've been pretty feisty. Looks like the consensus is the Lions with the points here so far. Even Beho, as a Bengals fan, doesn't seem incredibly confident in laying that 4 number. So perhaps an interesting game here, Lions-Bengals, as we move along to Chargers, Ravens. I think this is maybe the most interesting game on the board today. Not even because of the betting line, but just I'm very curious in these two teams in a heavyweight AFC matchup, mainly because I don't think the Ravens are that good. I think the Ravens are a playoff team, but they are the type that when you go week by week with them, like we just did with the Lions, okay, week 1, the Ravens lose at Monday night to a Raiders team that maybe the Raiders aren't that great now. You know, we come back week 2, the Ravens beat the Chiefs by 1. Maybe the Chiefs aren't that great right now. And we know that the Chiefs defense is a sieve. Week 3, the Ravens need that 66-yard field goal to beat the Lions. They should have lost that game. They shouldn't even have been able to get that field goal off because there was a penalty to play before. Week 4, they play the Broncos, who go into that game. What was it, Eric? 11 players they were missing on injury when the Broncos played the Ravens that week. And then Teddy B gets hurt with a concussion at halftime. So that game looks a little bit better on paper. The Ravens were getting their asses kicked by the Colts last week. Blankenship, their kicker's now on the IR. If he doesn't get hurt, all he has to do is make one of the 4 kicks that he ended up missing, and they win that game. It's a short week for the Ravens. I love the Chargers, their coaching staff, everything they're doing on all sides of the ball. I know the Chargers are like a very highly valued team right now, so this line is moved. If you play this game, I would just say play the Chargers money line. I think they're a lot better than the Ravens, and I think they're going to show it today. Let's start here with you, Mantis. Chargers, Ravens.
Chargers. They're hot.
They are just a fun team to watch. Very well-coached football team. Beho, Chargers, Ravens. Do you take the Ravens laying the points? Do you take the Chargers plus the 2.5?
No, I'm with you on this. If I play this game at all, it's Chargers on the money line. I think the Ravens are paper champs right now. Like, they look better than what they really
I don't
are.
think they're bad, right?
No,
they're a playoff team, but they don't feel to me like a top tier team.
Well, like you said, everybody's saying, "Oh, they beat Kansas City. They did this. They did that." It's like, but who have they really beaten? I mean, Kansas City's playing for their lives this weekend. So, yeah. I mean, we'll see. But yeah, I like the Chargers there. Is that game in LA?
Baltimore.
No, it's at Baltimore. Yeah, it's okay. For the line shows you that Baltimore only being a 2.5 point favorite at home says the Chargers have a legit shot here. So if I'm playing it, I'm taking the plus 137 on Nitro right now on the money line. Let's go, formerly known as San Diego Superchargers.
The one really scary matchup in this game, Eric, just for someone who's backing the Chargers, is that they're bad against the run. That is the major weakness of their team. And you think about the Ravens and you think about them as being a very powerful running team. The only thing with the Ravens is this particular team and the way they're running it system is their offensive line isn't as good as they've been in years past. And they don't really have the talent in the backfield. Like, they just have a bunch of veteran guys there. So they don't have even someone like they had in years past, like a legitimate good running back or 2 in the backfield. So it is a lot of just Lamar running. That scares me, because if they move the ball down the field on the Chargers, attacking them with the run game, I wouldn't be that shocked. But I still feel like the Chargers come into this game and play pretty well. I mean, they even have room for upside. Their special teams isn't very good. their kickoff returns are shitty. These guys are taking returns and returning them to the 15 instead of just letting the ball go in the end zone and stuff. That's just bad field position things that they can even improve on. Where do you stand in this game, Eric?
I love this Chargers team. I mean, hell, I came on your podcast. I gave them out at 33-1 back in
Win the
March.
Super Bowl. Yep.
I love them, but football is all about selling and buying teams, and this is the highest this team is going to be. I mean, you look at it, they're 7 for 8 going for it this year. The only time they didn't get a fourth down conversion was on a fake punt. It's astronomical that they're converting at that rate and they can keep up that much success. I mean, they thoroughly were outplayed by the Browns last week.
Yep.
Still won by 6. I mean, I love Staley. I love how he goes for it. I love everything about this team, but
now the one thing I'll ask you about Staley, because we've all been ball washing him quite a bit, and I think he deserves it. He's a damn great coach. But there have been 2 instances now in multiple weeks that you and I have talked a little bit about. They didn't take a knee last week and just kick that game-winning field goal. Now, Austin Eckler went down, and then on the next play, they ran another play, and the Browns did a smart thing by grabbing him and pulling him into the end zone, and that actually gave the Browns another chance to win the game. They did that earlier in the year against Kansas City, too. Now, do you think that's something that Staley is doing because he'd rather score early and just say, hey, screw it, I don't want to worry about my kicking, and I'd rather just get in the end zone, and even if it gives you the ball and a chance to score, I'd rather do that? Because that's something that could come back and bite you. Like if Baker last week drove that Browns team down and scored, that would have been Staley's fault for not running the clock out and just kicking a field goal on the 15-yard line, right?
I think he just doesn't trust his kicker, and I think he's a coach that he wants his playmakers to have the ball in the hands, and he's going to win or lose it with Herbert and Eckler.
Quarterback versus kicker. Who do you trust more in that situation,
exactly.
right?
I think that's what he's doing, and I totally get it. This kicker they have was awful in college. It amazes me to be on an NFL roster. In terms of the game, I think the Ravens are going to control the clock. They're going to milk the clock. They're going to run. Even if the Chargers stack the box, Lamar has shown he's able to throw the ball.
Yeah, he's improved.
I locked in the Ravens -2.5. The
number is really key to me because this was 3.5 right off the bat. Then it went to 3 early. Now it's at 2.5. If at 2.5, I'm not playing the Chargers number there. I would just play them money line straight up if you like the Chargers, because you want to be able to get that 3 if you're playing them to at least get the benefit of losing on a field goal. Really intriguing game. Just super interested in this one. As we one other tidbit. If the Colts and Carson Wentz were able to attack Baltimore secondary early on, if Herbert is humming, they may be able to really make that secondary look bad. So it doesn't always work like that, right? It's not always like what happened last week comes into this week. But if Wentz and a Colts team that couldn't move the ball all that much made the Ravens D look like crap early, this Herbert and the Chargers offense, if they're humming, they may do the same thing. So many different things can happen in this fun game. We move along. Texans, Colts. We'll start with you here, Mantis. So your Colts, last week, they played great. I don't think they lose this game, but this kind of feels like a letdown spot against a bad Texans team. You had a big, exciting game last week. They are 10.5-point favorite here.
Christ. Yeah.
That's a lot, right, for the Colts?
Excuse me, we're the Dolts, thank you. We're not the Colts. We're the Colts when we start winning after today. 10.5's a lot, but the Texans also fucking suck.
They do.
And T.Y. Hilton's coming back, and if you know, T.Y. Hilton makes the Texans his bitch.
He does destroy the Texans. That is
So I'm gonna go. It hurts more than you know. I'm gonna go Colts -10.5.
Laying the wood there with the Colts. Over to you, B-Ho. Colts, Texans, -10.5, over under 44.5.
Yeah, so here's a little something. There are teams in the NFL that should never be double-digit favorites. The Colts are one of those teams, just like the Bengals. I don't care who they're playing. I'm taking the Texans and the points here. That is way too many points to lay. The Texans do suck, but they have backdoor covered their way to a few games. And, after yesterday's UK game and that backdoor cover, I'm riding the backdoor covers all day today, baby. Give me Texans plus 10.5.
3-2 against the spread so far this year are those Houston Texans. One thing that, Eric, you and I, in talking with you over the last couple of years, just one of I'd say it's probably like 99%. Whenever we see a line that's this big with a total that's this small, I'm always going to be on the underdog in like a 99% situation. The total in this game is only 44.5, yet the point spread is 10.5. That's just way too much. That just doesn't make a lot of sense. If they think this is a low-scoring game, it's way too many points. And Wentz was awesome last week. That was by like some metrics, the best game of his career.
Carson Wentz.
That was the best game of his career by some metrics, by Pro Football Focus. 11.5 yards per attempt. That was the highest figure in his career. 25 of 35, 402 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was making big throws on big third down, like making big plays like the guy we saw a few years ago. And all that, they played as well as he could, and they lose. And it's deflating. And it's on Monday night. And it's again, and now you got a short week. Now you come back, you play this Texans team that nobody's excited about. Davis Mills, Culley's their coach. I mean, it's a divisional game now, too. There should never be this many points in the divisional game. At 10.5, especially, I like the Texans in this spot.
I love the Texans here, and I also bet the money line. I could see them straight up winning this game. Colts, like you said, just played the best game of the year. They lost it. They're a lot more banged up than people realize. They're missing Nelson and Smith on the offensive line. Bankership, their kicker is out. They're starting.
The Colts are better without Nelson and Braden Smith.
That's true. That's true.
They're missing their starting safety. Interdivisional teams getting 7 on the road. I love them. You know, I took the Texans. I took them straight up to win too.
I think this is like a 21-17 Colts game. Just like the low scoring, like the total would suggest, but just like an ugly game that we don't see on the red zone much here. You know, like it's just not going to be all that sexy. Mills looked really competent last week. He entered last week as the lowest graded quarterback by Pro Football Focus. He had his highest game in passer rating and passing grade. They were 6 of 14 on third down, 3 of 3 on fourth down. They just had a couple head-scratching mistakes that cost them last week. They had their punter line up under center, and he did this drop-back quick punt, and he kicked the ball into his own offensive lineman's head.
What was that play? Why were we doing that?
Why are you getting so cute? Just kick the ball. I don't understand that. You know, if they don't do that, they probably win the game.
Baffled me last week.
It was just absurd. Let's move along to Packers-Bears. This game is weird. I don't really have a strong opinion. It's a weird game for me. So do we like I heard this name thrown out a few. Do we like Mason Crossbar or Missing Crosby better for a nickname for Mason Crosby?
Yes.
After last week, he missed 3 field goals and an extra point. I think it needs to be said what Devontae Adams is doing right now, because we all know how good he is. He has 60% of the team's passing yards, 50% of their team's first downs last week picked up through the air. 0 drops. He caught all 3 contested catch opportunities. Through 5 weeks, he has the second highest target rate in NFL in the last 15 years of any wide receiver, which is unbelievable, and it's hard to sustain. And I think when the Packers play good defenses, they're going to be a little bit easier to shut down because they're not establishing anybody else there as a major weapon other than Adams. Last year, we would see Tonyan. We would see Valdez-Scantling. You know, Cobb every now and then will have a good quarter, but they're not getting anybody involved at all. They should have really, really beat up the Bengals a little bit more. They had 100 more total yards, almost 2 more yards per play than the Bengals, but they were just 2 of 5 in the red zone and just 4 of 11 on third down. I don't have a strong opinion here. Fields will be playing. Fields, even with Bill Lazor calling the plays last week, he did take a couple shots, one to the ribs. There was another one where he kind of got like stuck and his legs were stuck. He had to go to the sidelines for a play. Still only 3 of 9 on passes beyond 10 yards and only 109 total yards passing last week in a game that the Bears won. You have an opinion in this spot here, Eric. Packers -5.
So you look at the Packers. Packers are 40% in the red zone, which is 27th in the league. Let that set in. Aaron Rodgers is 27th in the league in the red zone. The Packers have negative point differential on the year, which is amazing to me. The Bears defense leads the NFL in sacks. They are the third best defense in the red zone. I think they're going to be able to limit the Packers to field goals and get to Rodgers, keep him out of the end zone. On offense, the Bears have totally changed their identity. Before the Fields got hurt, they're 8th in pace of play. Since replacing Dalton, they're now the 30th in pace of play. They're running over 60% of the time, and they're using max protection to protect Fields on his drop back. I think the Bears are going to shorten the game, run the ball. Packers aren't going to be able to stop the run. I like the Bears here plus the 5, and I like the Bears to straight up win.
And today for the Bears, it's going to be Herbert likely running the ball.
Correct.
Because Williams and Montgomery are out. Might be an interesting DFS play because he should get a ton of volume today there for the Bears. Packers, Bears, Beho.
Actually, I don't have much to say on this game, so I'm going to use this time to let everyone know that the rumors of Tua being back were over. Spoke too soon, as the Jaguars have taken the lead in London. So he is definitely not back. I don't have an opinion on this game.
Was he ever here to be? Wait, back would indicate that he was here at some point. I don't know if he was ever here to need to get. It's like a s'more, right? I need to have some to get some more of something. How can I get some more of something if I haven't had anything?
You know what? You bring up a really good point. Tua sucks. Eat it, Leo. I'm glad your Dolphins suck.
That's a Leo take.
He was legitimately awful.
That's a Leo, who we love, who will come with the Lamar sucks. Lamar sucks. Yeah. He sucks. He sucks. He sucks. I'm sick of this Lamar. Lamar sucks. Lamar sucks. But Tua is great. Did you like my Leo? It was pretty good impersonation.
It was. Leo hit us with the Lamar can't throw the ball 6 days after, he threw for 400 million yards.
He had the best passing game of his entire career. Yeah.
God love you, Leo. But this Packers team, I don't think is very good. I don't think the Bears are very good. I would rather watch paint dry than watch this game, so I am staying away.
Mantis, Bears, Packers.
Packers -5.
Packers minus the 5 on the road, playing those Bears, low total 44. Mantis is going to be lining up with Aaron Rodgers. We're going to see Mantis. He's going to be giving you like this bent post pattern into the end zone for a touchdown because they could use an extra wide receiver over there. So you got to go bent on the post pattern, right, Eric? You got to really bend hard on that thing.
Yeah, you really got to get the curve in.
Right?
Yeah.
Little confident corner to the end zone there, running my routes. Hey, I was a wide receiver back in my flag football days. I ran me a mean route. Only problem is tackle football with that 5-yard bump zone. I'm in some serious trouble. I'm in some serious trouble trying to get off the line there. So that's when my career in NFL of football came to a close as we move along to the Rams, Giants. Let's see if my Rammies can do this. But, Eric, this line has moved a ton. Earlier in the week, this thing was around 10, then 9.5. Now it's all the way down to 7. I think because Danny Dimes will be playing, right, today?
Yes, he's in.
And I think that's the big reason why this has come back down. Earlier in the week, we didn't know what we were going to get from this team, from a lot of their skill position players. I think Sterling Shepard is back also.
Correct. Shepard, Slayton, everyone's back.
So that's a big help for them, for this Giants team. Now, this number at 7, this probably feels like what it should be to me. If you like the Giants and you didn't get them earlier in the week, I don't know if I'd want to lock them in now at this or anything less. If you can find 7.5 out there somewhere, I'd still probably be okay with it. But I don't like giving away that many points. I don't think this is a game that the Rams need to win by 20, right? Like I could see the Rams just winning this game in like a workmanlike fashion, get up a little bit early, run the ball a lot, maybe a big Darrell Henderson game. He's had 80-plus yards in each of his last 2. So I don't have a strong opinion at this particular number. Earlier in the week, I would have locked in the Giants probably in that 8-9-ish range, but at this number, I stay away. We'll start here with you, Eric, on this one.
This game's a pass for me. I mean, when it comes to betting Danny Jones, you bet him when he's on the road, fade him when he's at home, but I can't lay this many points with the Rams.
That looked scary last week, right? Yeah. The concussion that Daniel Jones had too.
I'm amazed he's able to play.
Me too.
And I mean, what was the score? I mean, there was 10-17
when he got hurt.
Yeah, 10-10 when they got hurt. They're right in that game. But this is a lot of points. Rams defense isn't as good as last year. This is just a pure stay away game for me. I do like Van Jefferson here in terms of fantasy. I think he get in the end zone though. I think like a touchdown prop for Van Jefferson I would like in this game.
Last week, if you bet the Giants, I feel bad for you because I did also. It was 10-10. Daniel Jones, Barkley, Kenny Golladay, and Andrew Thomas all get hurt. So you end up losing your wide receiver 1, your QB 1, your RB 1, and your best offensive lineman in the middle of a game. I don't know if they would have won that game or even covered, but when you're tied and then all those guys go down, you just know you have absolutely no shot. And the Cowboys crushed them in the second half. Mantis, in this game, Rams, Giants. Rams are a 7-point favorite.
I would do a Rams -7.
Yeah. At the number starting to trickle down there at 7, I'm definitely not quite on the Giants side on this one. As we move along, we have 3 more games to get to. No, a few more games still to get to. I think like 5 more on this Sunday slate to get to.
Gino, just in case you were curious, I actually really love this game, and I'm on the Rams giving the points as well.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't ask you.
No,
I'm an asshole.
It's okay. It's okay.
There you go. What an asshole.
I don't have much to say.
Jeez.
I just love the Rams. I love the Rams in this spot.
And we will start this game with you because I was so rude last time out, B-Ho. We've got the Chiefs -6.5 at Washington, over under 54. So the Chiefs are dead last in defense right now. Defensive DVOA. 32. There is not one team in the league worse than them. They are dead last in passing DVOA, which is crazy. They got the crap kicked out of them last week. I mean, they were down 24-13. It was never close. And the O-line, they haven't improved all that much. We heard that they were going to be a lot better. They haven't gotten all that much better. The Chiefs had a 17-play opening drive, and they just kicked a field goal. Talk about not being Chiefs-like. Then you get this Washington football team. I was pulling my hair out during this game last week. They lose by 11 to the Saints. They should have won that game by 10. I mean, every single thing goes wrong for Washington in that game. Heineke looks horrible. But in this game, they should be able to move the ball pretty well. Let's start with you, Beho, Washington, KC.
Yeah, so just both of these teams have cost me money all season long. They're both underachieving. I mean, look, we thought the Washington defense was going to be excellent this year, and they haven't been. We thought the Chiefs would be the Chiefs, and they haven't been. Something's got to give at some point here. So at the end of the day, I look at this game and go, let's be honest here. If you need to give points, who are you taking here? Mahomes or Heineke? The Chiefs have to cover at some point. I hope today's the day. I'm rolling with the Chiefs -6.5. It's probably not the smartest bet in the world, but I just can't bet on a Washington team. At least the Chiefs have a good offense, and Washington's offense is okay, but it's not the Chiefs. Nobody's the Chiefs offense, So with two bad defenses, I'm going with the better offense. I'm taking the Chiefs -6.5.
It's just nuts to me, Eric, with this Washington football team, where if you would have told, me before the season, they're the number 1 ranked defense in the league, I would have picked them on a short list of 3 teams that I thought would have had the best defense in the league. Right now, they are 28th in defense in DVOA. That is more shocking than if they were 0-5. If they hadn't won a game. If you told me all of their victories or all of their games were like low scoring, they couldn't move the ball though because Fitzpatrick is hurt now, but their defense played well, I'd say, yeah, that makes sense. It's the total opposite. They can actually move the ball pretty well. Heineke's been competent most weeks. Last week, he was an absolute sieve. He was just awful. But I don't know what to do. You and I, we like this Washington team. We've gone back to them a few times this year. That game last week, as I mentioned, they give up a Hail Mary, stupid penalties, blown coverages. That was the second or third time this year where they've had a dumb personal foul. that extended a drive for a team that would have just shut him down and forced him to punt. I don't know what to do with this game. I'm staying away.
I locked in the football team +7 a little earlier in the week. Anything lower than 7 would be a pass for me. This Chiefs defense is averaging giving up 7 yards per play to opponents. Basically, I look at it like if you're going to bet the Chiefs, you're banking on they're going to be able to hold the football team to field goals, not touchdowns when they get in the red zone. I think the football team is going to be able to get into the red zone. I think this is just going to come down whoever has the ball last. I think it's actually more of a coin flip game with a number as high as 7 taken. Washington just makes sense to me. I locked it in.
We get to you, Mantis. You're going to go with Mahomes here. You're going with Taylor Heineken.
I'm missing the Chiefs with a parlay. A couple favorites. Money line.
Little chalk Chief parlay there for Mantis with the Chiefs as we move along to Browns Cardinals. Now, Eric, this game there's a lot of information probably to discuss about this game, right? So Chubb is out. We know that the Cardinals are missing Cliff Kingsbury because of COVID, and I believe a couple other coaches. And the Cardinals are also going to be missing Chandler Jones, right, on the defensive line, which could be a big deal. That, if it's just Watt there on the line, that's a lot different than having, multiple very, very good rushers coming after you. Kyler's been a little banged up with his shoulder. Last week, he didn't look great. He didn't throw the ball all that well. They should have lost that game to the 49ers. So there's just a lot of missing pieces, a lot of interesting things to keep an eye on with this game in particular.
I locked this game in when the Browns got down to -2. With how the weather is forecasted, with the winds and everything, this suits the Browns' style of play.
Just hand the ball off.
Yeah, right? A lot better than the Cardinals. Baker struggles with pressure in his face. They're going to be without Chandler Jones, their best pass rusher. Also, the Browns are going to get it back Myles Garrett, which is huge for them. Cardinals are going to be without their starting center, Hudson, which is pretty big. Murray, like you said, shoulder injury, so he's not going to be able to sling the ball.
Even Max Williams has had a pretty good year, right? And he's out. That's another target that they're going to be missing.
We saw last year what happened when Murray had the shoulder injury, stops running. He's a little bit more passive. Also, Spencer Whipley and Sean Kruger are going to be calling plays. I always find that there needs to be one voice, not two people discussing what plays. Neither one of these guys have called plays in the NFL before, with Kingsbury not being there because of COVID. I think the Browns are just going to kick their asses. I love the Browns here. I locked in the -2. I would take them all the way up to 4 or 5.
Yeah, I like the Browns quite a bit. I mean, this Cardinals team, they're 5-0, B-Ho. They could be 2-3. You start digging into their games. They should have lost that game to the Vikings. They missed a 37-yard field goal to win the game. Last week, Trey Lance got stopped at the goal line. All he had to do was just extend the ball across the goal line, and that's a tie game. And
they're down 11 to the Jaguars, too.
The Jaguars, they're up by 10 late in the third quarter when the Jaguars absolutely melted down. Trevor Lawrence threw one of the worst pick sixes you will ever see. They literally had to try not to win that game. And this Cardinals team's now 5-0. They've got a lot of things I don't like coming into this week. And I feel like the Browns, talk about a team that could be 5-0. It's the Browns. They lost week 1 to the Chiefs when they had a few issues late. Then they lost last week when, that was an awesome game. Browns-Chargers. There was a penalty late. That was a pass interference that probably wins the game for the Browns if that call goes the other way. I think they were the first team in history. They scored 42 points, had 532 yards, 0 turnovers, and lost. That has never happened in the NFL, including the playoffs. To be that, because normally if you score that many points and you have that many total yards, in order to lose, you probably had to turn the ball over multiple times and give the other team points. They didn't do that. I think they're going to be a little pissed off. I don't think this is like a flat spot for them because I like Stefanski. I think he's a very good coach, and I think he'll outcoach whatever is left on that Cardinals coaching staff today.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's
a huge go ahead.
No, go ahead, my bad.
Like Eric said too, it's kind of like the old adage: if you've got 2 quarterbacks, you don't have one. If you got two
Yep.
guys calling plays, do you have anybody calling them?
Yep.
So I fade that. I think the Cardinals undefeated run ends today. I take the Browns, and like Eric said, I'm an alternate line, especially if I love something. So, like, yesterday I gave out that video about NC State, and I told you I'd lay 20 if I could find it somewhere. Well, that one for today, 4, 5, 6. I'd lay up to 6 here on this one.
Mantis, we have a couple that are high on the Browns so far. Browns, or are you going to the Cardinals and Kyler?
Cardinals. Easy.
Cardinals plus the 3 on the road for Mantis, hoping that Kyler Murray has some of that Murray magic as we get to Broncos, Raiders. And I got to say, I'm staying away from these Raiders games for probably another week or two just because of everything that happened with Gruden and stuff. I'm always someone who plays a team when their coach gets fired because of being an incompetent coach. If there's a really bad coach that gets fired, I'll always play the team the next week. A lot of time, the team gets up. They understand that a coach is bad, probably has been holding them back, and so they get a little bit excited, and they generally play with a little bit more energy when that coach is gone. I don't know what this is going to be like because this wasn't the case. Gruden, he's not been the greatest coach in the world, but he's actually a pretty good play caller. Right? He might not be an incredible head coach anymore at everything, but calling plays, he's pretty good. And he's done a pretty good job with Derek Carr through the years. How are they going to react? Carr and Gruden became really close. Didn't Carr move in next door to him? And they live right next door to each other? And Carr was asked about this all week, and he said, I love the man. I hate the sin. This puts them in a really weird spot. I don't know what the vibe of this Raiders team is going to be. I mean, I don't want to lay 5 with the Broncos team. That is banged up. They're beat up themselves right now. They haven't been this high-powered offense. So do I want to lay a lot of points with them? No. Do I want to trust this Raiders team where they may just be I don't know what their vibe is like. I'm just staying away. B.O., where do you go in this game?
It's going to make those block parties there a little interesting, isn't it?
Awkward!
Yeah, a little bit. Again, like you said, the Broncos, I don't think they're as good as we once thought they were.
And they're banged up. They may not be that good, but they're decimated by injury.
So, I mean, the Raiders have got so much going on. This is going to be interesting to see because I think a guy like Carr can unite that locker room and be like, guys, look, what's done's done. Let's fucking roll. He said everything right in the media. Yep. I've been very impressed with what he said. Yep. He's showing me he can lead. So you know what? I'm taking the Raiders, and I'm taking the points. I'm taking the Raiders, and hopefully it works out. I mean, but I understand why you stay away from this game.
Yeah.
But I want to see the Raiders win because of Carr and his leadership right now, and I want to see them win. So my money's going with him.
Mantis, Broncos are a 5-point favorite against the Raiders here. I
love the game, hate the spread. As a Christian man once said, I want to go with Raiders plus 5. Just fuck it. Jesus Christ would like that. Genesis 44.5 over.
Mantis, do you have like liturgy services on Sunday for you and some of the other Christian NFL staff? I feel like you, Carr, and Reich could have like a good little ceremony, celebrating the Eucharist together. That would be a nice thing to do on Sunday one time, maybe for some content.
How dare you say Reich's name in vain? As Frank Reich, thank you, our Lord and Savior.
There we go. Frankie.
Frankie, yes.
I once heard Mantis, though, say if they put their heads in a playbook as much as they do the Bible, they'd be better. But, just throwing that out there, too.
Well, it's funny. Carson wears his little wristband. It's not playbooks. It's just Bible verses. That's why he fucks up and has a little time out here and there.
He looks down and he's like, "Oh, that's John 3:16. That's not sweep right triple option."
Yeah.
Hey, where else do you get coverage like this? Well done, Mantis. Well done.
Nowhere. As we move to our final 2 games on the Sunday slate.
I love the Raiders too.
What?
Oh,
I
yeah,
like
yeah.
Flipping Eric.
Oh, now I'm doing it to Eric too.
What an
Jesus.
asshole.
God, what a
I like-
rude freaking host. It's like the first time I've ever done this shit. Eric, Broncos, Raiders.
I like the Raiders too. I always back a team after a coaching change. I think this is a real rallying point for them. I think Cards to be able to throw on the secondary. Broncos, their offense isn't that good. They're 24th in scoring offense, 17th in total offense. With the cupcake schedule they have, those numbers should be a lot better. I have this as a field goal game. Anything over a field goal, I love. I like the Raiders in.
The numbers high because of all the crap going on with the Raiders, and it's sort of like built in to the spread, which I don't like. I stay away. We move to the Cowboys, Patriots, and the Cowboys are a 3.5-point favorite in this game. This is a weird one to me because, the Patriots, you could everything that the Patriots have done over the last few weeks has made sense. The game before the big game with Brady, they laid an egg. Then they had an awesome game in the game against Brady in that big emotional game. And then the week after, they laid another egg. It was like you could see it perfectly coming. Now, do they bounce back this week because they're at home? They had their flat spot last week. Unfortunately, the one thing that I can't bet this game, if I was going to, I'd lean Patriots. But if Davis Mills was able to move the ball early against this Patriots defense, what could the Cowboys do if they are moving the ball like we've seen them? Because the Cowboys are really well balanced, and they can run the ball well if you're giving them that. If you try to stack the box, they're going to attack you through the air with multiple weapons. Dalton Schultz has been getting into the mix now, and that kills a lot of us in fantasy, people who have CeeDee Lamb or Cooper. But for actual football purposes, that makes this team even better and even more tougher to guard, tougher to defend, because now you got Dalton Schultz, who's had almost a third of a target share over the last few games. What do you do with him? You put focus on him. You leave CeeDee Lamb or Cooper one-on-one, or you leave room for Pollard or Zeke out of the backfield. I don't think I could lay the points with the Cowboys here, even though things have been going so well for them. They were able to take advantage last week of a banged-up Giants team, so I don't know how much that score really reflects what the game was like in the first half. Eric, we'll start here with you. I'm staying away, but this feels like a Pats game for you.
I locked in the Pats at plus 4.5
Yeah.
earlier. I like them everything over 3. You look at the Cowboys. Cowboys are starting off 5-0 against the spread to start the season. And I believe this is the game where it stops. Cowboys defense, the turnover aggression, I think it's going to start this game. Diggs isn't going to get an INT every single game. Watching the games, he jumps every single route. So there's going to be a hitch and go that
he's cheating.
Yeah.
It's like a basketball player that gets a lot of steals like Rondo, and they're not the greatest on-ball defender, but they cheat a little.
There's going to definitely have a hitch and go plan. He's going to give up a big play for sure. Cowboys only 28th in pressure rate, giving up 390 yards per game. So this defense isn't the world beater everyone thinks it is. This game kind of reminds me from when the Cowboys went up to the Jets a couple of years ago, and they just
2019, right?
Yeah, they just got steamrolled.
And they had like the number one offense at that time too that year, and they just got their asses kicked.
Yep. I love it. I love the Pats here. I locked in the plus 4.5 earlier, like them at 3. I'm actually going to parlay them on the money line with the Lions for plus 624.
There we go. We're going a little Jack Moans today for Eric, Mac Jones, as we get over to Beho. Beho, Pats, Cowboys.
Well, first off, it's become my job on the show to tell everybody Tua updates. Right after they strip sacked Trevor Lawrence and got the ball back in a 17-13 game, Tua throws an interception, and the Jags are driving again. So, anyways, to this game. Look, the Cowboys have been a workhorse for me all season.
Yeah.
Like, I thought Dak was going to be shit. I've said it every week. I'm so sorry to Dak Prescott for saying he wasn't good. He is good. They've been rolling and winning me money.
5-0 ATS.
Hey, and you know what? What do? You keep piling on that workhorse until he can't go no more. So until they prove me wrong,
you ride her till
I'm
she
rolling.
bucks you.
Yep, I'm gonna ride the Cowboys. Giving whatever 3.5. I'll give the 3.5. And I actually didn't see this line before the game. So while you guys were talking, I rushed over to Nitro and locked it in at minus 3.5.
You're getting a better number than you would have earlier in the week, which is nice too.
How about them Cowboys?
Cowboys for Beho, Mantis, Cowboys, or Jack Moans from the Patriots?
The Cowboys are undefeated on the spread, so if I ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm going to go Cowboys spread.
Mantis and Beho riding with Dallas, and shout out to Milo, because what's great, because my girlfriend's from Texas, Milo can be fans of both. So whichever team is good at the time, if it's the Cowboys or it's the Rams, he can, represent both of them. I won't do that myself, but I'll let my son be a front runner, which is great. So the Cowboys are good right now. Go Cowboys, dem Cowboys. I'm gonna put on his little cowboy shirt a little later on for Milo as we move along to the Sunday night football game. Geno Smith, baby. It's funny for someone like me who's got a name that's a little unique. When I hear, when I've got podcasts on in the background and I hear people start mentioning Geno, I always get, what? And all week long hearing people, breaking this game down, talking about Geno, it's just been funny. It's a weird trigger that I don't normally get. And you know what? Geno Smith looked pretty good last week. I got to say, for a guy who has not taken a lot of snaps and a guy who probably didn't get a lot of opportunity in training camp, shout out to Russell Wilson. This is going to be the first game he's ever missed since 2012.
Oh, fumble.
When he was drafted. Look at that. Another big play here. We got the Herb Scowl as we get a big play for the Dolphins.
Urban, 4th and 2. Come on, man. Gotta finish that.
Oh, goodness. So this Dolphins-Jags game, Jags are up 17-13 late in London. We get to our late Sunday game. Steelers minus 4.5. Now, okay, you're missing Russell Wilson, but
did you say Russell
Wilson? But how much worse? Because I was gonna say worse. I was getting the W in my head already. Beho, how much worse is Geno Smith than Big Ben has been? It's not like Big Ben has been lighting the world on fire, right?
No, Big Ben is that's Big Ben Roethlisberger. Don't forget that as well.
Yeah.
If it was Bent Roethlisberger, I'd probably have to roll with the Steelers here. But since it's not, I'm rolling with my man Geno, even though he's been an asshole to 2 of the 3 other people on this show.
I know.
So I'm going to roll with Geno Smith. And this is a terrible game. Do not bet this game.
The total's only 43.5.
Carson's out, and this is a shit show. Please, guys, I tried to talk myself into something, but no, this is terrible.
This is a bad Juju's out. Mantis, what about you? Steelers, Seahawks.
Just watch the baseball game tonight.
Yeah, I don't like this game either. If I would like Beho says, watch some baseball. Let's try out a new sport.
The
Mookie Betts is playing.
There you go.
Mookie Betts, who
there you go.
has to have a big game tonight because they didn't even give him the chance to win the game last night. That's another podcast. Let's get into the final game here, Eric. I definitely couldn't lay the points with the Steelers here.
I mean, at this point in his career, Big Ben really isn't that much better than Geno Smith at all. I mean, those two are even playing field.
And Geno can at least move the ball with his feet, right?
He can run. He probably has a bigger arm right now. This is the point you look to fade the Steelers coming off a big win. This is the spot they generally lay an egg. This game reminds me a couple of years ago when the Packers went in there with Brett Hundley and Aaron Rodgers was out, and that game was competitive. I think the Packers actually won in a last-second field goal. Maybe it was like 4 or 5 years ago. I think this is going to be an ugly game. I don't see a lot of points. When in games like that, when I lean the under, I'm going to look at the team taking the points. I actually like the Seahawks, and it's at the point now with how much the line's moving, there's actually value on the Seahawks. I'm just going to wait. I'll get the best numbers I can right before kickoff.
Geno. I'm with you too. I'm taking the plus here. I see this being a close game. It's a really low total. And if you have Geno Smith who can maybe make a play or two with his legs versus Ben, who's been really bad, like you said, people probably starting to think the Steelers are okay again because last week there were a couple big passes down the field. There was a 50-yard bomb. Then there was a big pass to Claypool. That only went about 6 yards in the air. I'm against the Steelers in this spot. I'm taking the Seahawks plus the 4.5, and that is going to do it for us on 4th and Inches. Hey, I apologize for just being a horrible host today. What an asshole. Hopefully Geno Smith can be the better Geno today, because he won't have to be a whole lot better. He won't have to be very good to be better than me today, but I'm going to do my best to get some winners for you. I'll post a video up in just a few minutes at betterthan.vegas with some of my final plays for the day. Mantis, give us one or two of the plays that you really like today.
My favorite plays. I really like the Cardinals as the underdog. Well, no, you know what? No, whatever. My favorite plays, said two of them.
Yeah.
Colts -10.5. Really like that. And I really also liked the Cardinals as the underdogs.
Colts and the Cards for Mantis. Beho, give us a couple of the plays you like today.
I am on I'm trying to think. The Cowboys, the Texans, and what was the other one I really loved? I don't have my sheet up in front of me because it kind of was crapping in and out.
Cowboys
The
minus
Rams.
3.5.
The Rams.
Cowboys minus 3.5. Texans plus the 10.5. Rams minus 7 are the games that Beho likes for today. Eric, give us a couple of your plays.
I like the Pats, anything over 3. Like the Lions, like the Texans, and like the Bears.
Beautiful. I'll post a video in just a moment.
Underdogs.
For all of you that are watching this, go right now. It'll take you just a few minutes to pick'em.santanita.com. There's a free contest that I think a lot of you will really enjoy, and it starts at 10 o'clock, so you only have about an hour. There are 12 props, totally free to enter, and if you win $1,000. And they're a lot of fun. There are, I think, half of them are involved with the Sunday races from Santa Anita. The other half are games like, Rams. It's the point spread in the Rams-Giants game. There are questions like, who will be the first touchdown scorer in the Ravens-Chargers game? There's questions like, which of these teams will have the most passing yards today? And there's a list of 5 teams. So if you're watching this, you're a football fan. I'm sure you're going to be playing in some fantasy stuff today. You'll probably have some wagers. Go take a shot. It is totally free. You could win $1,000. Our boy Chase, he was right in striking range yesterday. He had a big shot, the Wolf of Oaklawn, and just 1 or 2 others went his way. He would have won that thing and taken home $1,000. Go take a look. Pick'em.santanita.com. Beho, good luck today. I hope you have a great Sunday. Mantis,
Man, you too.
You have a great one. Eric, thank you so much, buddy. Good luck today in all your wagers. And all of you out there, you've got about 55 minutes to get your lineup set, to get your wagers in. We always appreciate you hanging out with us on these Sunday mornings. Good luck on another beautiful NFL Sunday.